Hi, I'm Jim, and I was retired. I've been retired almost 10 years now, but I'm hard at work trying to understand some unexpected drop in consumer inflation expectations and what that means to my DIY retirement strategy. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. Now, on my channel, I share how I manage a DIY retirement. This week, we had some fresh inflation numbers, and on Friday the 13th, we had that unexpected reading of inflation expectations from Michigan. Now, all this is leading up to the Fed's meeting next week. And let's connect the dots between the news, my retirement portfolio, and plans I have for an upcoming Treasury auction next week. Let's explore how inflation shapes my DIY retirement, and yours too. Stick around. Now, if you followed this channel, you know that I use a three-bucket approach to manage my DIY retirement. Bucket 1 holds enough for withdrawals to meet 3 years of expenses, and it's held in cash and equivalents. Bucket 2 has income-producing assets for the next 5 years of withdrawals, and they're invested, designed to beat inflation. Bucket 3, well, that's my long-term growth. I don't need to touch those assets for up to 9 years, and they're heavily invested in equities. Equities is the best long-term protection against inflation. Now, right now, inflation readings are on my radar because I have some cash in bucket 1 that I want to put into bucket 2. Which treasuries, CDs, or bonds will deliver the best returns over the next 4 to 8 years? And will they outpace inflation to protect my purchasing power? Let's break it all down with the latest data to find out. Now, there are two main measures of inflation. Last Wednesday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported the May Consumer Price Index, or CPI, which measures price changes for a basket of everyday goods and services, and it came in at 2.4% higher than a year ago. Now, that May reading was slightly higher than the 2.3% in April, but it was below economist expectations, and so it was widely viewed as a positive inflation reading. Now, the Fed, the nation's central bank, prefers the Personal Consumption Expenditures, or PCE index. And that last number was for April. At the end of May, we got the number for April, and it was 2.1%. We'll get the May PCE number at the end of this month. And experts predict that it'll be slightly higher than 2.1 and still below the CPI numbers. Now, why does this matter? Inflation erodes your retirement savings value over time. And once you are a DIY retiree, you can't ask the boss for a raise. Now, both of these inflation indexes also have core readings that exclude volatile food and energy prices. And the Fed thinks that tracking the core measures can better predict the path of future inflation. All of these numbers will go into next week's decision by the Fed as they set the range for the federal funds rate. Now, that's the rate that drives all the other rates in our economy. Cuts to the federal funds rate loosen up money supply, and rate hikes tighten up money supply. And that's supposed to keep the economy working to keep inflation close to a 2% target. Now, the Federal Open Market Committee of the Fed, the policymakers, last made a cut to the federal funds rate in December 2024. Now, most people expect the Fed funds rate will stay at a level of 4.25% to 4.5% when it meets next week. My prediction is that the Fed will hold at this level until its September meeting, and it may cut one more time before the end of the year, but I'm not looking for massive cuts in the Fed funds rate. Hey, please subscribe to my X feed where I use the same handle, I was retired, over there. And I comment on inflation and DIY retirement over there, and I'll post some comments midweek after the Fed meeting. Now, economists also watch what people expect inflation to be. The Fed wants our expectations of inflation to remain well anchored for a healthy economy. Two key surveys they watch are the University of Michigan's surveys of consumers and the New York Fed's survey of consumer expectations. Check out this chart. The Michigan survey provides monthly data on consumer inflation expectations for both 1 year ahead and 5 years ahead. I'm showing you the inflation rate 1 year from now in orange. I know I should have used either blue or yellow for Michigan, but they were already taken on this chart. Now, Friday's preliminary number for June was 5.1%. That's pretty high, but it had plummeted from May's final reading of 6.6%. Yet both of those numbers are crazy high. Compare those numbers to these numbers back in 2022 when the CPI had hit 9%. Yet Michigan's expectations for 1 year ahead remained lower than they are currently? Doesn't make sense. Now, the New York Fed's survey of consumer expectations has, in gray here, has stayed a little bit more steady, and its last reading was 3.2% for May, down from the 3.6% in April. But why are these numbers so much lower than the Michigan numbers? Why the gap? Well, Michigan's telephone survey of 500 plus households captures immediate concerns, and they fear that it got a lot of tariff fears in the responses on the phone calls. While the New York Fed's survey is an internet-based panel of about 1,300 respondents, and there's a lot less emotion in filling out that response. Now, a better measure of future inflation expectations is to look at the 5-year and 10-year break-even rates, as shown on this chart. The TIPS bond break-even rate looks at the difference between the yield of a nominal Treasury note and the real yield of its corresponding TIPS offering. For instance, the daily reading for the 5-year break-even is a little over 2.3%. It's down slightly from the monthly average for May, shown on this chart, of 2.4%. I'm using monthly averages here rather than the dailies, but I am watching this daily. This measure reflects market expectations of what the average inflation will be like for the next 5 years. The U.S. Treasury is scheduled to reopen an auction for a 5-year TIPS on Tuesday, June 17th, and I'm planning to buy these TIPS in our IRAs. And will the break-even rate stay close to this level, drift higher, or drift lower? Buying TIPS in our IRAs is one way of protecting some of Bucket 2's assets from inflation over the next 5 years. Now, I've covered in this video here why holding TIPS in an IRA is better than a taxable account. Now, I follow David Enna at TipsWatch, and I'll put a link to his analysis of this upcoming 5-year reopening in the details below. And he notes that the 5-year Treasury note closed Friday with a nominal yield of 4%, which gives this TIPS an inflation break-even rate of 2.32%. Now, this means that the TIPS will outperform the nominal Treasury if inflation averages more than 2.32% over the next 4 years and 10 months. And he noted that the inflation rate for the last 5 years has averaged 4.6%. Now, note this is a good investment if you think inflation might rear its head again. And if you think it's going to be below 2% target again, then this wouldn't be a good thing. So I'm only doing a portion of our bucket 2 in TIPS protected securities. What's your take on inflation and retirement planning? Drop a comment below. And if you found this helpful, please share, like, and subscribe for more DIY retirement tips. I will conclude with my standard warning. I am not an economist or a financial planner, but I am a father, so happy Father's Day tomorrow for everyone out there. Look, I have no initials after my name, so take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out professional help if you need it.